Hey, just before we get started, I did a test upload of this video and it got a whole bunch of copyright hits. So my solution is to replace the copyrighted music with something that's only copyrighted by me. So when you hear this, you know that we've replaced some copyrighted music. So with that in mind, let's do this. All right, welcome back. We are reacting to Namio's favorite TikToks. This is part 2, and let's just jump right into it. Oh boy, puppy.
I had a lot of things to do today, but you know what I did instead? I took a nap. It was a very good nap. That email, I took a nap. The Zoom call, I took a nap. What about your lunch?
This is one of the things that little puppies like that are best at. They're growing babies. They need their sleep.
I took a nap.
Okay then. All right. Oh, this guy. I think this is the same guy. Okay.
If you live somewhere where COVID's still an issue, most places,
Yeah.
but you absolutely will not wear a mask. This song
Go slide down a barbed wire fence.
is not for you, because if science won't break through, you'd never be convinced by some snarky Aussie dude. Sure, I could take the high road, communicate some facts, plead for selflessness and empathy and all of that.
Yeah.
But if you're this far in, that's probably not your thing. So that's other talks for other days with other songs to sing. No, this song is for everyone to hate you. Every day you choose to make this whole thing worse. My patience can't persist, so I'll scream to the abyss as I take a little minute to be mad that you exist.
Okay, that's a little over the top. I do not embrace hate in any form, for any reason. It's, yeah, no, that was too much.
Dear Diary, I've decided to plead with the authorities to rub my belly. I think it'll do me good in my current condition.
Yes.
I would like to receive 2 rubs exactly. A third one and I will bite the shit out of them as per protocol.
Yep, pet bite is a real thing with cats. We have, gosh, I've lost count of how many cats now, and they all do it.
The one thing that I think is the most awesome thing in our country that is underrated, and if it can work this good, why can't everything else? The post office. And I can't believe when I have friends, people in their 30s and 40s, did you think they write the practice again?
Yeah, boo-hoo-hoo.
Really? You're upset about it? I think it's a miracle. I can't believe that I can walk into a building with a piece of paper in my hand and look at another adult and go, for 55 cents, will you take this to Alaska?
Fair point.
And they do it.
Yep.
Yes, ma'am, it'll be there in 2 days. Is there anything else you'd like? More stamps. This is crazy.
Yeah. She's not wrong. Yeah. When you complain about the post office, basically it's like complaining about a farmer. Don't talk with your mouth full.
Hey everybody, got a favor to ask. Shut the fuck up and put on your mask.
Yeah!
Shut the fuck up and put on your mask. Shut the fuck up and put on your mask. Save a human life with a menial task. Shut the fuck up and put on your mask.
Yeah!
Look at their numbers, look at our numbers. Shut the fuck up and put on your mask.
And they want to throw God's wonderful breathing system out the door.
Shut the fuck up and put on your mask. If you say they're killing people, then you're dead wrong. I really shouldn't even have to write this song.
He's right.
If you trust Trump, you can kiss my ass. And shut the fuck up and put on your mask. Everybody! Shut the fuck up and put on your mask. Shut the fuck up and put on your mask. Save a human life with a menial task. Just shut the fuck up and put on your mask.
Yes. If you didn't get that message, let me tell you again. Shut the fuck up and put on your mask. Yeah, the other thing we may run into is some copyright blocks. If there's no audio on some of these, that'll be why. Alright, next. Oh, another dog.
Run.
Head banging. I think that's a golden retriever. Head banging doggy, okay. If you say so. Next.
Today on Stupid Conservative Arguments I'm tired of. That's just how I was raised. No, fuck you. How the fuck do you think I was raised, bitch? My mom told me I couldn't watch Ellen, read Harry Potter, or drink tap water because she was afraid I would turn gay. I will kick your ass at Bible study. I have heard all of the bigotry. I was raised with all of it, and all of it is horseshit. I have had this conversation before. I have done it my entire life, and if I'm in the right mood and I have enough box wine, yes, I will sit on that hamster wheel of circular logic with you and go round and round and round until you run out of incoherent bullshit and you get tired and say, well, we're just gonna have to agree to disagree because that's just how I was raised. I'm afraid I don't agree to disagree, Karen, because you see, we started out life with the same bullshit dogmatic opinion, but I went through life, gathered new information, applied that new information, and learned to change my worldview. You were exposed to the same amount of lifetime or more, and you thought, you know what, information is really optional for me. And you want to say that these two opinions are equal. I'm choosing not to learn is not a valid counter-argument, and this is not a stalemate, it's you losing.
Okay then. Yeah. If you try to use the that's how I was raised argument with me, expect a battle. Because I was raised to be the doggonest racist you ever saw. My dad had a slur for everybody. And I do mean everybody. Even white people. We're talking about blinking Englishman, flannel-mouthed Irishman, tight-wadded Scotsman, square-headed Dutchman. I never figured out what that one was supposed to mean. But his best slurs were saved for people of color. He once told me, I can understand a black person wanting to marry a white person because they're marrying up, they're marrying above themselves. But I can't understand a white person marrying beneath themselves like that. This is how I was raised. And you know what? By age 17, I realized that was all crap. And you know something else? I fight it every day of my life. But I have chosen to reject it, to say, no, that's wrong. And I taught my kids, people are people. Some are worth your time, some aren't. And you cannot tell by looking. You have to get in there and get your hands dirty and make yourself vulnerable and find out about that person. Thankfully, they got the message. Again, I battle it, I fight it every day of my life. But you know what? Over the years, with practice, it's gotten easier. It's gotten more, okay, I can't think of the word, but I've gotten better at it. Practice makes, not perfect, but as close as I'm likely to get. And I try every day to get just a little bit better about it and to remind myself, people are people. That's the bottom line. People are people. And if you call yourself a Christian, I want to ask you something. Did Jesus die for that person? Then shut up!
If you have ADHD, you might find it hard to develop good habits, so here's a tip for you. Don't form new habits, tweak the habits you already have. Now, I know you probably have in your head some pie-in-the-sky version of, like, the perfect morning routine. But sorry, not sorry for calling you out. Your obsession with perfection is preventing you from making any progress. So let's forget about perfection and let's focus on progress. Do you throw your coat to the left every time you walk in your front door? Put a hook there. So now when you go to throw your...
And then you can make a game out of throwing it, missing the hook, and going over and picking it up again. It also gets you extra exercise. Such a good joke, and I messed it up.
Your coat, look! There's a hook there now! You always just throw your keys on the counter, put a bowl there. Boom! Key bowl. Embrace...
No, what we have is a metal octopus, and the tentacles are curved so you can hang your key ring on them. Same thing, only different.
The key bowl! And then, follow for more ADHD content.
Key bowl. That sounds too much like skee ball, and my brain just might go off on a tangent about that. So...
And thank you for coming to the morning meeting.
Kelly's
I'm gonna
brain.
keep this brief. Kelly is
Okay.
going to be up in about 10 minutes, and she has a huge day in front of her. So, how are we going to fuck this up? Me. Why are you so obnoxious? Doesn't she medicate you? I forgot what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I was going to have her pass a goat on the way to work, and the goat looks lost. Back to
Okay.
school, coronavirus, perverts, school shooters. I can do this shit with no effort. That's
Yeah.
why you're the team captain. I do this every day.
Yeah.
Just whatever's in her head just comes flying out of her mouth.
Yeah, the ADD has a lot to do with that.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go with the regular. Remind her that her kids are getting older and they're gonna leave her soon. I'm just gonna have her.
You know, I wish. My kids have gotten older, and 2 of them still live with me because of the whole economic situation.
Have her run an errand, and she'll simply drive the wrong way. 10 minutes into her drive, she'll have no freaking clue where she is. Who the hell is that? I think I'm lost. This is Kelly Mano's brain. Oh, Jesus, no, I'm not supposed to be here. Sorry.
Okay.
A good, solid plan, and then at the end of the day, our MVP 5 years in a row will step in and do her thing.
Hey, if you have insomnia, cannabis. A good, strong indica delivered in any form will help you sleep. I sleep well for the first time in my life since it became legal in Washington. So,
Went down to Target, gonna buy a vacuum cleaner.
okay.
My pets peed on my stuff, and they clawed up all my chairs.
A vacuum cleaner isn't going to help you with that, dude.
Trying to keep this carpet though, so I'm calling Stanley Steamer.
That's more like
I
it.
might just finish laundry, maybe even take it all upstairs.
Okay.
I get this funny feeling when I'm walking through a Lowe's. I want to remodel my kitchen. I want a brand new garden hose.
Not me. I want more shelves for my studio and more places to put things because right at the moment I have more things than I have places to put them.
And right just then it hits me, and it gets me kinda sad, 'cause I'm having such a great time, but I just became my dad. I'm getting old, but if my back hurts old, I remember floppy disks.
3.5 inch or 5 1/4. I remember 5 1/4, dude.
Old, I'm so old. I'm getting older every day, and I still can't pay my student loans.
Yeah, I can empathize with that. I am 68 years old, and I still have $68,000 in plus loans hanging over my head. Now, I haven't made a payment on them in ages because I can't, and they have been sent to the Department of Education, who says they can't do anything but send me threatening letters. So, you know what? Threatening letters I can handle.
Hey, real quick, I need to ask you some questions. Did you learn about the Tulsa race riots when you were in high school?
I
You
did
didn't?
not.
Well, a black man tripped and fell in an elevator. He grabbed the arm of a white woman on the way to the ground. A nearby white man heard her scream and called the cops, said the black man had raped her. So a mob of angry white people burned the richest black neighborhood in America to the ground. It killed hundreds. Did you know that a majority of Confederate iconography was either built in the middle of the Jim Crow era or in the Civil Rights era?
I did know that.
Pretty clear and direct response to black people having the audacity to think that they deserve equal rights in a nation
Definitely, yeah.
conceived in liberty.
Yes.
Have you ever heard the name Hiram Rhodes Revels? He was the first person elected
I
to
have
the
not.
United States Senate that happened to be black. He was elected in 1870.
Yeah.
Southern senators argued that because the 14th Amendment had only made him an American 2 years earlier, he hadn't been an American long enough to be in the Senate.
How long do you have to be an American to be in the Senate? You know something? The Constitution doesn't specify.
You didn't know any of that? Well, then how can you claim taking down statues is erasing history? You never learned it in the first place.
Valid point. I'm not sure what the whole makeup thing has to do with it, but yeah, fair point.
Me? What do I sexually identify as? Alright, well, I'll tell you. I sexually identify as petrified.
Okay, okay, that accent kind of caught me by surprise, and I'm having a little trouble following it since I wasn't prepared for it. So I'm going to back up and I'm going to start this again.
Me? What do I sexually identify as? Alright.
Okay, what do I sexually identify as? Okay, okay. I'm with her now.
Alright, well, I'll tell you. I sexually identify as petrified of women because society's put me in competition with too many women. I also love women. Think they're great. So much so that I do not have the gonads to go up and say, hey, I think you're pretty. So I don't. So basically I just date men because they're the first ones in my DMs. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
And again, like I said, terrified of women because they're amazing. And it hurts a part of my soul. And also I've got a massive fear of rejection.
Yeah?
And I don't know why. Getting rejected by a woman seems to hurt me more than a dude. It's probably because I like women more. I don't know!
Was there a point to that? I don't actually know what intersectional feminism is, but as a father of 3 daughters, I'm a definite feminist. I do not hate him. I don't hate anybody. I just don't want him anywhere near any reins of power because the man is stupid!
Last night I was sleeping with my windows open. My neighbors were doing the nasty. They were going at it for about 25 minutes. So I wanted to say something so they'd hear me. So in my best Mortal Kombat voice I said, "Finish her!" They heard me and laughed. The funny part was, about 20 minutes later, I heard him say, "Round 2, fight!" I have the best neighbors.
Okay, that definitely got me. Not only for his story, but because of a story my sister told. She and her husband were going at it, fast and furious, and they had the window open. Their next door neighbor locked himself out of his house and was trying to get the attention of somebody to let him inside. So, right outside their window, he gave a very loud whistle. They both jumped about that high, and needless to say, the evening's festivities were over.
No, did you just sit here and say that my daughter looks miserable, so maybe we should put Kalani in her place?
No, I never
said that. Yes, you most certainly did.
No, I didn't, dingbat. Listen, I said, Brooke, is your mother
Get
speaking
your
for you?
finger
Do you
out
want to
of
be
my face.
Girls out the room.
Yeah, you
Girls
wouldn't
out
even
the
get
room.
away from me.
Out the room.
Get away from
out
me.
the room. Girls out of the room.
When the drama's just too good to ignore. Okay. ADHD guy again.
If you have ADHD, you might notice that oftentimes you need something else going on to help you focus. Music, a podcast, a parade going by. But sometimes having anything else going on while you're trying to focus on something is the worst. And I think I just figured out why. The ADHD brain has a really hard time focusing on something if it's not sufficiently stimulated. So sometimes if there's a really boring task, you throw on a podcast, you throw on some music to try to bump up the stimulation that's going on in your brain so you can focus. But sometimes that thing that you're trying to focus on is itself stimulating enough, in which case all that other stuff going on is just preventing you from getting the stimulation from the thing. Which
Actually, we call that hyperfocus, and what happens is we tune all that other stuff out. One of my kids has a scar on her face from a dog bite because I got hyper-focused. So, yeah, what he's describing isn't necessarily a good thing. I mean, I can be doing 4 or 5 things at once, but the thing I get hyper-focused on will be the one that's most interesting to me. That's how this works, you know. He's talking about stimulation. I use the term, it's interesting to me. It amounts to the same thing.
Which is super frustrating. Sometimes other stuff going on helps something be enough, but sometimes it prevents something from being enough. Now follow for more ADHD content.
His ADHD ideas are a little vague, and some of them I'm really not all that sure about. As an ADHDer myself, I have to take issue with a couple of those things, but the stuff I take issue with tends to be pretty minor, and so I can commiserate with him as one ADDer to another.
But if you think about it, sex is the weirdest activity we do as human beings, right?
Yeah.
It's the only activity we do where we're making something that at the same time we're trying super hard not to make. That's insane behavior. That's like mixing up a bunch of flour and sugar and milk and eggs up in a pan and then putting it in the oven and then 45 minutes later being like, oh, thank God there's not a cake.
No, the difference is how much pleasure do you get mixing those ingredients together?
I don't know what we'd have done if there was a cake in there. That cake would have changed everything. And if there was a cake in there, you'd be like, that's not my cake. Cake doesn't even look like me. All right, thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay. I'm not sure why we're doing the Jimmy Fallon outro here.
That's how you do it. That's
But,
how you do it right there.
yeah, that was pretty good, except like I say, some people enjoy mixing the ingredients more than others do. So
I was at Walgreens, and there was this woman who refused to wear a mask, even though it's mandatory in my county right now. And she was being super rude to the employee there, saying, I don't need to wear one, this is my America's free. And so another lady in the store comes up and starts spraying the signature Bath & Body Works scent, warm vanilla sugar, all over her face.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, bitch, I bet you wish you were wearing a mask now. And it was crazy. But you know what? I'd do it again.
Okay, under the law, that's assault. Don't do it. Because if that person gets angry enough at you, they can send you to jail.
What the fuck?
I haven't the faintest idea what I just watched, but truthfully, it almost feels racist. Alright, music by Lalo Schifrin. My wife's kitten looks almost exactly like this cat. That is amazing. Okay.
And he didn't appreciate when I then took the time out to explain to him that technically, Jesus was one of the colored ones.
Yep.
And that is not up for debate.
No.
We can argue about the existence of God all day long. We'll never know whether there is a God in heaven until it's too late for me.
I know.
But if you're Christian, you believe that Jesus was born in Bethlehem. That's in the Middle East. Had he been white, that would have been the fucking miracle.
Yeah?
He would have been the only white guy for 400 miles.
Yeah.
And it would have blown people's minds.
And the locals probably would have assumed that Mary screwed around with a Roman and put her to death.
Oh, look, he's turning water into wine. He's a different color! Why is no one mentioning this? We live in the desert. The sun is always in the sky, yet somehow he's got the complexion of a fucking snowman.
Okay then, yeah. Yeah, she likes a lot of stuff like that, and it's all accurate. And really, if it gets the message across to people, just go with it. copyright snag, but I am absolutely in awe of anybody who has that kind of flexibility and that kind of body control. I salute you. Wow. This is absolutely awesome. Alright, next. All the people who say they're unfollowing me because I don't support Trump.
Maybe if we wait just a little bit longer, a fuck will fall into my hand, and I can give it to you.
Okay, then. Alrighty then. Oh, yeah. Yeah, a lot of anti-Trump stuff, too, which, you know, I can go with. The only things I don't like are the ones who talk about hating him, because he's a human being. Jesus died for him, too. And so hating him is just wrong. Understanding that he's the stupidest person on the planet, and only a pathological idiot would follow him the way some people do, that's a different matter.
This is a map of the continents of the Earth showing how much ultraviolet light lands in each latitude. It turns out the closer you are to the equator, the more intense the ultraviolet.
Well, yeah, the equator is closer to the sun.
Reds and purples. But then as you move away from the equator, we change the colors to orange, yellow, greens, and grays. Now here's the same map of the same continent with just one color. And it turns out that everybody on Earth is descended from people that live here in Africa. And then as groups of us moved around the world, the color of our skin had to change. And here's why. Our skin is where we make vitamin D. If you don't get enough ultraviolet, you don't get enough vitamin D. But if you get too much ultraviolet, then you break down your folates. You have to have it in perfect balance.
And what's the significance of breaking down folates? I don't...
And because the ultraviolet varies, the color of our skin varies. And that's it, everybody. That's why we have different colored skin. But we're all one species. But we're not treating each other fairly. Not everybody's getting an even shake. So it's time to change things.
Yeah, he's not wrong about that, but I could have used a little more science there, because he only gave me a half explanation. Still, that last part was spot on.
Wearing a mask is sexy. Wearing a mask is hot. Wearing a mask makes your butt look better than doing a million squats.
Okay.
Wearing a mask is cute.
Scott, are you wearing a mask on your butt?
Cute. Wearing a mask is cool. Wearing a mask is for people who did above average in school. I can't mask the feeling when...
Which school? If we're talking high school, yeah, I don't cut it because I didn't graduate from high school. Now, if we talk college, okay.
When you're wearing a mask, what turns me on is listening to scientific facts. A mask is the accessory to turn a 6 into a 10. Cause stopping viral spread makes me spread my legs, amen. Look how flexible I am. Wearing a mask is easy.
I did not know he could do that.
Get sick. I heard people who don't wear masks have the tiniest little amount of respect for people who might be immunocompromised or older or vulnerable, and also it's not hard. Catwoman.
Such as my wife, who is still immunocompromised. So if you're not willing to wear a mask, you try to get near her, you'll deal with me.
Hot in a mask. Zorro, hot in a mask. Batman, rich in a mask. The guy from the Phantom of the Opera, sure. And all the doctors.
His mask wouldn't be very effective against COVID.
Doctors around the world. So wear 'em.
Okay. I do enjoy Scott, and I do enjoy pentatonics. That is a kick. Okay, what's this girl doing?
This goes out to all the racist white people that always tell me to go back to my country. Okay, fine. Just tell me where your ancestors took my ancestors from and pay for the plane ticket back home, and I will gladly go back to the motherland.
Okay.
But while I'm on the plane, make sure you're packing your bags as
Yes.
well. Or did you forget that your people were colonizers? This isn't your country either. This is the country of the indigenous people. You know, the people who gave you nothing but generosity, helped you figure out how to work the land just to be murdered and pushed to a small plot of land that is their only sacred land left for their tribe. Just to be threatened years later for oil pipelining? Yeah, we didn't forget. Not to mention all of their missing women that no one is talking about nor looking for. The disrespect just to solely turn around and see you guys wearing their culture as costumes on Halloween. Their culture is not nothing to play with, honey. You do not get to try it on just to disrespect them in their own land. So, put some respect on their name. This is their country. How about you go back to yours, sweetie?
Okay, that kind of went all over the place, but, yeah, there is no such thing as a Native American, whether black, white, Asian, what we call Native American, or anybody else. Everybody immigrated to this continent from somewhere. We all did. And you know what? They got here first. And then we came along and stole it from them, tried to wipe them out, and all the rest. So, yeah, don't tell anybody to go back where they came from unless you're willing to do it too. Now, in either 1968 or 1972, I forget which, comedian Pat Paulson was a regular on the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour, and he decided to run for president. Somebody asked him what his solution to the whole race issue was, and he said, I believe we should send black people back to Africa, send white people back to Europe, and turn the U.S. into a national park.
Someone with ADHD can only focus under pressure? This looks like an opportunity to bring up one of my favorite studies. Boom. There exists a set of areas in your brain that are very active when you're not doing anything. We call it your default mode network. It's basically your chillin' brain. There's another set of areas and processes in your brain that are very active when you are doing something, when you're focused on doing something. We call it your task positive network. Now, your default mode network is supposed to calm down as your task positive network ramps up so you can focus. Well, guess what the ADHD brain does? Not that. Nuh-uh. Our default mode network remains very active even when we're trying to do something, particularly if that task is super boring. If you were to have a group of unmedicated people with ADHD, medicated people with ADHD...
As I've said before, there's always some sort of narrative going on in my head. That's the sort of thing he's talking about.
With ADHD and people without ADHD and sit them down and make them play an extremely easy but extremely boring video game, we find that people without ADHD's default mode network shuts up, medicated people with ADHD's default mode network shuts up, but unmedicated people with ADHD's default mode network is still trying to chill.
Yeah.
However, in those circumstances, the player gains 1 point for doing something correctly and loses 1 point for doing something incorrectly.
Okay.
But what if you made it so that every time they did something wrong, they lost 5 points, but still only gained 1 for doing something right? Raise the stakes. The study finds that the default mode network of people with ADHD shuts right the hell up, just like everybody else's. Basically, our brains aren't getting off the couch for any $5 buy-in penny slot BS. So if you have to do something boring, try making it more challenging. Give yourself a time limit, put on a blindfold, and follow for more ADHD content.
That was a little confusing. I think I get what he's saying, but in the main, I get the feeling he's describing his own ADHD. And contrary to popular belief, we're all different, and it affects every one of our brains differently. So what he's talking about may or may not work for you, or for me, or for someone else with ADHD. But you know what? Give it a try.
I'm at home, Mama Lisa, break bananas into pieces. Had to X some judgy Karens on my circle like a pizza. I'm way too exhausted, living sweats and comfy clothing. All them little ass jeans only fit pre-baby booties. Working bitch, still cleaning baby bitch. Boys uneven, I'm unbothered and relaxing. I have never tripped on a toy since I had him. Boy, that's my baby, you the daddy, but I made him. I'm a mama. Gassy, leaky, hungry. Sleepy, moody, nasty. Acting stupid, what's happening? What's happening? I'm a mama, nanny, maid, magician, teacher, chef, physician. Acting stupid, what's happening? What's happening?
I was Mr. Mom for 20 years. I can empathize with her. Yeah. Anybody who thinks staying home with the kids is the easy part, try it.
Hello, my wee darlings. This wasn't requested, but you need to hear this song. I need to introduce it to you because it's beautiful.
Okay.
There are stories I've heard told of an unfamiliar road where the evening sun hangs gold in the skyline.
Oh, I love that. That really was beautiful. Wow. Thank you, Namio. That was worth all of this. That is a gorgeous song.
I got one for y'all. What does a deaf gynecologist do?
Okay.
A deaf gynecologist?
A deaf gynecologist. What does a deaf gynecologist do?
Okay.
He read lips.
Oh my. Okay, it wasn't that funny. That was a clever joke, but it wasn't that funny. I want those guys in my audience. They're easy. Oh my. Yeah. Wow. Oh. Wow. Take a nice healthy bow, gentlemen. That was awesome.
Resting bitch face isn't a thing. You know what is a thing? The fact that society shames women for being emotional and then also shames them when they don't show emotion because they're just existing. I don't know.
Well,
I feel like resting bitch face and come on baby give me a smile are like not so distant cousins, you know? You don't have a bitch face, honey. You have a face. And you're perceived as a bitch when that face isn't actively projecting an emotion that makes your presence feel comfy and non-threatening to others. I say to hell with it. Feel threatened.
you know, Jesus had something to say about that. He said, you know what this generation's like? They're like kids playing in the marketplace. They're saying, we did something sad and you didn't mourn. We did something happy and you didn't dance. There's no pleasing you people. If I don't do it, you whine. If I do it, you whine. So, yeah. Sit down, shut up, smile, and act happy. Tomorrow you can be yourself.
So this is what it's like living with ADHD. You're never doing the thing that you intended to do. You're doing the thing that you thought of while you were trying to do the thing that you intended to do. For example, I have to take the trash out. But if I'm going to be leaving my room, I might as well take the things in my room out of my room that shouldn't be here, otherwise I'm just wasting motion. I mean, I'm already leaving my room, right? So I find all the dishes in my room, and I take them on over to the sink. Now, while I'm at the sink, I might as well just be doing the dishes while I'm thinking about dishes, because again, I have ADHD, and if I'm thinking about dishes, I should be doing things concerning dishes, otherwise I'll probably forget. But I'm at a dish soap, so I gotta go to the store before I can do the dishes because I need more dish soap. If I'm going to the store, I might as well think of all the other things I need while I'm going to the store, so I go to my whiteboard to write down the things that I need, but my dry erase pen is almost out of ink, so I gotta get more of those. I sell dry erase markers at the same place they sell dish soap, so I gotta figure out a place that sells both of those things. So I go on my phone and go to Google and, oh, TikTok.
That sounds about right. That is kind of how the ADHD brain works, and that's why I take medication.
Well, here's the thing, man. Whenever the cops gun down an innocent black man, they always say the same things, man. They always say the same thing. It's like, well, it's not most cops. It's just a few bad apples. It's just a few bad apples. Bad apple. That's a lovely name for murderer.
It comes from a more extended expression that says, one bad apple will spoil the whole barrel. So when they say it's just a few bad apples, they're admitting that they're on their way to spoiling the whole thing. This is what happens when you really just grab a phrase and you don't examine what it actually means. So if you're using that phrase, stop it. You're using it wrong.
That almost sounds nice. Hey, here's the thing. I know it's hard being a cop. I know it's hard. I know that shit's dangerous.
Yeah.
I know it is, okay? Some jobs can't have bad apples,
Yes.
okay? Some jobs, everybody gotta be good. Like pilots.
Or carrying a gun.
American Airlines can't be like, you know, most of our pilots like to land.
As opposed to...
We just got a few bad apples that like to crash in the mountain.
Thing is, most of them only do it once. Oh my. I love Chris Rock. Okay, that is the end of it. Thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. This was actually kind of a dry run to figure out all the logistics and technicalities and stuff of setting up for my Try Not to Laugh 5,000 subscriber video. So I think we managed to work out a lot of kinks today, and it will just make that video that much better. So please, keep your videos coming. She's got a pretty good collection going, but she really wants more. So keep them coming. The address to send them to is below. I am Irving. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.